All right, we're good.
It's a good thing he smiled.
All right, give us your names real quick, and then
You used to first names.
yeah, first names are good. All right, go ahead. Just yeah, go ahead, Kara. Start.
Kara, Rachel,
Colby.
And can you give us an idea, real quick, what's been happening, what you've seen, what you've heard, what you felt?
we have camera. Well, I guess 2 cameras, one in our bedroom and one in Rachel's. And then one up there. And I have a lot of orbs, which I thought was dust. But it's not. And then TVs turn off and on.
I'd say my, biggest experience of everything was a couple weeks ago. I was just out in the living room playing PlayStation. Went to bed around 1:30, and then just hanging out, watching TV in bed. The door opens up. Thought it was a little weird, but walked in the hallway. No cats, no people, nothing. It was just the weirdest thing. So that was probably my biggest experience with it.
I'd say my biggest experience was I like to talk to them when I'm here alone and just say, like, if you're here, like, let it known. And all of a sudden I heard a like, in my right ear. I was sitting right here.
I think your TV turned on.
Oh, yeah, my TV turned on all the time.
We couldn't figure out how to turn it off.
Yeah, because I was at home.
Yeah, there was no remote in sight, and the TV was turned on, and we couldn't find the remote to turn it off, so I had to unplug the TV.
So how long have you guys been here?
Just under a year and a half.
Okay, so was it happening the whole time you were here, or was it?
Started
spurred
Christmas Day.
Yeah,
Christmas Day.
Christmas 2019.
Yeah, because we were watching the camera to check on the cats, and all of a sudden we noticed the TV was on. We're like, oh, the TV. But we don't do that. And then we look back at the camera, so we can go like back and
Review.
and it just turned on. And the remotes are usually sitting on a plain sight and no one's around. Or cats. We have 3 cats. Nowhere around.
So it's not a cat stepping on the remote, is
Right.
what you're saying. Okay.
Correct. There's like no explanation.
Did I see some sort of footage where you were having the cupboard doors banging or something to that nature? Something going on in the kitchen too?
I feel like the kitchen's the most activity, which is why we used to have the camera right here. We moved it up there, and so I don't want to say you can hear like different sounds, but you can definitely hear something out of
Rustling
the
around or
Yeah, and the cats aren't around because you can clearly see.
right.
If it's a cat with their eyes in the dark, you can see, and there's nothing around. And sometimes the cats always sleep with us, and sometimes all 3 of them will just be out here, which is kind of out of the normal too.
I think wasn't there one time me and you were hanging out here and like a bag of chips got knocked down
Yeah.
on the top of the refrigerator? There was no one else here, so that was pretty weird.
Did you hear popping sounds too? No?
Not really. I guess I don't really pay attention that much now that I know. Like,
Now that you know, yeah.
yeah. At first, it was like paying attention to every little thing, but I'm not really looking for the orbs anymore because I kind of know they're here.
And you said this started when you started doing genealogy.
Yeah, well,
Research?
actually, my grandfather wrote a book on our entire genealogy on what his side.
Yeah.
Right? And I got Ancestry,
Mhm.
and you can input all that stuff. So I've been like inputting all the info
Yeah.
on there, and all of a sudden, like Christmas Day, like clockwork, all this stuff started happening, and ever since it's been happening. And I guess I don't really stop. Maybe like a week or so I don't input, and then it's like silent. And then I start up again.
They like being acknowledged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice because I kind of want to know
Mhm.
where it comes from and all that.
And it was it you that had the Annie Oakley connection?
Very, very slim connection, but yes.
I'm connected to P.T. Barnum, so yeah, I get you.
That's cool. Well, I also just learned one of our ancestors murdered himself and his whole family.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's
Ooh.
it's like what I said.
Dan was jealous.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay then.
So it's dying on railroads. So I guess that was like the main thing to do as a job.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I think our great great grandmother Naomi is here, and her husband died on the railroad at a young age. So she actually married twice, but I think it's her and her husband. But so we can name her Naomi.
So is Naomi the one that's connected then to the Annie Oakley? Is that the same side of the family?
Technically,
Or?
yes, yeah.
Yes,
If you go
that's-
down the tree.
But it's distant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's that same lineage though. It's not
Yes.
the opposite lineage. It's the same. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did she know that? Do you know if Naomi knew that?
I don't know. The first time I've heard it was actually me looking stuff up, and my grandfather being like, "Yeah, we already knew that."
Now, was Naomi the one that had the connection to the baby? Did she die of complications from a baby or something? What was that about?
There was a
'Cause I remember the
failed
baby part.
illegal abortion.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Okay.
that would have been our great aunt.
Okay.
That would be Pat Pop's sister.
Is that the same lineage or is that the other side? Is it the same
That'd be
As
the
Naomi?
that'd be the same lineage.
same
Yeah.
side of the lineage? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
But see, do you see how it's all starting to connect now?
Yeah.
The dots are starting to connect down the.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we actually had a big picture board. My grandfather wanted me to redo, which is not here anymore, of course, but it had all the pictures with what 4 generations.
It was something 4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, of all of our ancestors on that side, including Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
And last time we got here, whoever it was said she was on that frame.
Yep.
So that's what.
Well, so
Mm-hmm.
taking a step back from that, when they did start speaking to us, it was Kara and I who were in this room with that picture.
Right.
So they almost waited until Dan and Rachel were back in the back, away
'Cause
from
that's
the
your
area.
lineage, 'cause
Correct.
that's your lineage.
Yes, and that's when it really started to happen.
Mhm.
And that's where we pulled the name from. That's where we connected the dots on the
On that.
picture.
And I
Mhm.
feel like there's something they want to either tell us or that we don't know and everyone wanted to hide at some point. It's like kind of mysterious almost
Okay.
in that way. So even when I'm looking stuff up, I notice myself like inputting stuff and then it like won't be there.
It'll freeze.
That too, yeah. And even with the frame I made, I made a mistake. I'm saying I did, but if you look back, my computer was right, and it should have printed out right, but it didn't. And that was Naomi's death date. It printed out as her husband's death date, so I had 2 of the same death dates.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I looked back, and it couldn't have been an error on my side,
Right.
so I had to go fix that today. But
Yeah. Well, that's kind of cool.
So the
They're
last
manipulating
time,
things.
yeah, the last time we were here, now Rachel, you were feeling things back in the back room. That's why you and Dan went back there. Can you explain what you were feeling back there? Do you remember what it felt like? It was just pulling you, right?
Yeah, I just felt I just felt something was down there, and I just kept getting drawn back. Like my gaze at least kept going back there. Like something was just like there in my peripheral vision, but then when I looked, there was nothing there. It just something kept drawing me down the hallway.
Yeah, and I heard the female's voice down the hall too, which is when we went down there. Was right after.
But then
that.
after you both went down there, nothing happened for
Nothing.
you,
got,
Yeah.
No, we got pulled away.
and then things
And
happened
then we
in
hung
here.
out in
Right.
there while you guys were doing stuff in here. So it was.
I also think since then they're kind of like chilling with Rachel lately. 'Cause I think she talks to them more than I do.
So
You
you're
acknowledge
acknowledging
the-
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's acknowledging them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are you putting up any kind of boundaries when you do that?
Not really.
We'll get into that after.
We'll get into that.
And I
after.
feel like she's more sensitive because sometimes she's like, oh, talking to
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
And then Colby, but when we were here last time, you didn't really believe. You didn't really care to stick around. You didn't.
Yeah.
But since then, you have. Was it the TV? Was it the door? What's really got you to?
I think the more that you guys talk about it, the different occurrences that go on.
Too much than
You
just
know,
a coincidence.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's only so much that can be a coincidence. Like, at first, like the TV, at first it seems like it's just the power maybe went out,
Power
popped back
surge.
on something. But you know, the more stuff going, the chips falling when we were just sitting here talking. That was the weirdest thing. And honestly, the most recent one with the door just randomly opening, when that eye box was just sitting up on I guess the sill up there. I was like, all right, I think something's going on because there's no cats around. No one, everyone was asleep. I was the only one awake. So, like,
Which door was that?
it was our bedroom
Your
door.
bedroom door.
Yeah, and like it was closed, like it was cracked because we keep it cracked and everything, for the cats. But there's no cats around. I walked down out into the hallway, nothing. So
And there's no air vent. to
yeah,
Touch the door that way.
right.
Right.
Because the air vent's right on our bed. So there's no way like a draft could
Right.
be or
Are you noticing any correlation between the occurrences and your research when you're researching?
I'd say so, yeah.
It heightens when you're doing it, you said, right?
Especially at night. It's usually around like 8 or 9, even if we're out here. When we look on the camera, you can see the orbs. She took a picture of the cat one day during daylight, and there were orbs
Oh, yeah.
in her room.
Oh yeah. Well, they're always they're always with us. Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that in daylight.
Well, and also too, you'll have to understand that sometimes you can get evidence any time of the day or night. It doesn't matter. You can get communication in any form that they want to give you. It's their
Right.
choice. But at nighttime, when things are a little bit more quieter, they like the darkness because they can hide in the shadows and they can kind of like sit back and kind of figure you out a little bit and figure out what to do and how much to do. And they draw energy from the darkness too. Anything that's going on in the dark, because there's nothing else to compete with it. The TVs are off, everything's off. There's no competition for energy, So they usually try to draw a lot at night for those purposes and those reasons. And if you get anything right around the time of, I would say between 2 and 3:30, or 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning, those are the 3 o'clock in the morning is what they call the dead time. And I don't know if very familiar with that. If you guys are familiar with that either. Are you familiar with that? Okay. So, it's dead time is really when everything starts to heighten. That's when the energy is very, very high and the veil is very thin, and they do take advantage of that. So if you get anything, that's right around that 2:33, 3:30 in the morning, that's them pulling on that and being able to use it to their advantage, to be able to communicate or move things or have sounds or whatever they need it for. And that seems to be the easiest time of day too, to get them to communicate because they have a plethora of energy at that point. So, yeah, so keep that in mind too when you're looking at your TV cameras. Pay attention to the time, and then you'll be able to establish a pattern.
Okay.
You can find out when they're more active. Just like you guys take a nap during the day or whatever, you go to bed early because you're tired. They have the same, kind of things because it takes a lot of energy for them to be able to come through in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah. Just trying to think.
Yeah, anything else? Anything you guys can think of off the top of your heads? Anything at all? Good. All right.